he storms through. Sonic the Hedgehog, don't doubt what he can do. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive.
Hello and welcome to the 74th episode of Pixels in the Animation. I'm, of course, TFG and Mike. Joining me is TV's Mr. Neil.
I hate that hedgehog.
Yes, we do. I don't understand people's fascination with this show.
Oh, I'm starting to hate this.
I just don't like. There are moments in this cartoon that are really, really well done and really cool and really great. But the problem with the quote-unquote dark Sonic is the fact that they don't stick to, and we said this before in the first, episode 71 to 73, is that they either do one-off episodes homaging, old, reading things like, Hooked on Sonic, works for us. But it's one of those things where they either do that or they do something like Harmonic Sonic from last time, or and it's just a one-off, and yet they try to, we'll find out in the next couple of episodes, that they try to tie a story together with her father, with Sally's dad, with the king, and with Sonic's Uncle Chuck. And look, I know certain television shows take time to find their legs. Like, most people, and you'll have an opinion on this, obviously. I don't know if it'll be the same as some of the other people that I've talked to. Most people say that The Next Generation, Star Trek The Next Generation, did not find its legs until like the third or fourth season.
That's pretty accurate.
Okay. And these are cartoons. This series is 2 seasons, 26 total episodes. And we're already into, or we're gonna be, we're already into, we'll be getting into season 2 and it's just, like I said, it just doesn't know what it wants to do. And that's not good. Also,
this is commonly called the Dark Sonic.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier, yeah.
Not that dark.
No.
I mean, it's not even as dark as Transformers, and I wouldn't call that a dark cartoon.
Yeah, the darkest part of Transformers in the 80s was,
Zombie.
Okay, that. But I was going to say Zombie Optimus Prime.
Peeps were dying.
Yeah. Prowl had orange smoke coming out of his mouth.
And still, that was a pretty lighthearted movie. I mean, this is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody... Okay, you see a couple kind of gross things with, characters being turned into robots, but even that's not that bad.
Even the transformations we see between Robot Uncle Chuck and regular Uncle Chuck are not like... I mean, the Matrix babies are more disgusting than this cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And by this I mean the 1999 classic film, not anything that came out of the Decepticon Matrix of Leadership, which doesn't exist. Web World has more gross things in it than this does. I don't understand people's fascination with this cartoon series. And again, this is coming from somebody who has not seen it in 20 years. Like, I have not seen this since it originally aired. And I'm trying my best. I do have positive things to say about each. I try my best to have positive things to say about each episode, because I know the flip side of the coin over there, folks, he's going to have a lot of negative things to say.
Yeah.
I
mean... another aspect of this is that we have the female characters, which, they kind of... I'm trying to find the word here because I think this cartoon is what contributed to furry culture and why Sonic kind of gets a bad rap for that. Because I'm looking at Bunny Rabbit and I'm looking at Sally Acorn. I'm like, they're kind of built.
Yeah, they see, here's my thing with them, and this will actually be coming up in the next couple of weeks here, folks. When this series first started, everybody was naked, and except for Bunny. But like Sally was, I don't remember her wearing clothes before one point in the next few episodes. Like she has a blue vest on or something. And again, there's nothing to say, anything about the voice cast or anything like that, because it is all great. And I mean, you've got three amazing female leads in this series. Now I know everyone hates, 1, 2, 3, tongue 2, 3 from Elmira, but that still doesn't take away from how awesome Cree Summer is.
Yeah.
You got her, you got Kath Soucie as Nicole and Sally as well, and then you've got Christine Cavanaugh, who has done a number of other voice roles.
But I'm just talking about the character design.
Yeah.
There's something weirdly somewhat sexual about them, and this is coming from me. I'm the kind of guy that does not complain about that at all. And I'm looking at this cartoon, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because we've had female animal cartoons in the past. I mean, we grew up with the shirt tails, these pantless cartoon characters.
Yeah.
There were female shirt tails, and there was never anything weird about them. Watch this cartoon. There's something weird going on here.
Yeah, there is.
It's like I feel uncomfortable looking at Sally Acorn.
Yeah. I mean, even,
even Cindy Bear from Yogi Bear. I mean, she wears nothing, and there's nothing weird about her.
Yeah. Yeah, she wears like a bow in her hair. That's about it. But yeah, I mean, and of course, we're, at this point of the 3 episodes that we'll be talking about today, Warp Sonic, Subsonic, and Sonic Past Cool, these aired between November and December of '93. So we were already about 3 years into, well, it was probably over by then, but I'm sure it was in syndication. We're already 3 years into having already seen Tiny Toon Adventures, and I don't care what anyone says about Tiny Toon Adventures, A Looney Beginning will still be the best thing that show ever did. Come on!
I think Season 2 and Season 3 blew away anything that's in that pilot. I mean, they were actually making cartoons in the later seasons. That first episode was just...
The first episode was all set up, and it was comical setup, and, they basically made fun of the fact that most of the actual animal characters in the classic Looney Tunes did not wear clothes. Granted, Buster Bunny does not have pants, but, I mean... And then later in Looney Tunes cartoons, they put the pants thing on Porky, and they're like, "Oh my God, my pants! Where did my pants go?" God. So yes, starting off today, we have Warp Sonic, which has surprisingly nothing to do with any kind of warp drive or anything like that, or him going faster than normal or beyond. Like. Hello. But essentially, the freedom fighters find themselves defending an underground Mobian city of refugees, all while coming to terms with their own personal relationships. This is a video game cartoon. There should not be relationships in video games. I mean, it's not our fault that Princess can't stay in the right fucking castle.
I mean, we're getting into He-Man territory here. That they're not even like telling a story. They're skipping right to the moral message at the end.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. You said earlier that this is really not dark at all, and they call this the Dark Sonic. The underground city was lighter and brighter than anything that may have been dark in Robotnik's town. I can't even talk tonight. Robotropolis or whatever it's called. Because really, again, oh my god, I can't believe you mentioned He-Man. Oh, you shouldn't have done that because now you're really going to hate this. Sonic the Hedgehog is essentially She-Ra, Princess of Power.
What?
Not fucking kidding, dude. You got Robotnik who rules the place in a very dark Fright Zone looking thing. You've got
Oh no, I see where you're going.
Sonic and his band of merry men in a place called Knothole Forest, aka the Whispering Woods. I mean, the only thing Sonic is missing is a white horse that turns into a unicorn with his magic ring.
And a little elf kid, raccoon-looking thing, hiding in the background.
That's what Tails... Oh my god, Tails is Lukey! Oh, fuck!
Oh no! Yeah, he's barely in it anyway, so...
Oh, fuck! I just gave myself a heart attack. Holy shit.
Oh, good night, everybody.
That's right. Oh, crap.
Oh my god.
Sonic is She-Ra, Princess. Oh my god. With Warp Sonic, I did think it was cool that we saw other quote-unquote freedom fighters. But again, it's cliche and it's whatever because the freedom fighter that introduces them to the underground city is actually Uncle... It is actually Biff Tannen's great-great-great-great-great-grandson, Griff, who's got a mental plate in his head. You know, of course Griff is going to be evil. But he's not really evil. Guess what, guys? We're going to show you all this sneaking around stuff. He's not really evil because, in the end, he was doing it for a good cause. Look, I don't mind desperate times call for desperate measures, and you're doing it for the right reasons. But damn it, man, why didn't you just tell them what you wanted instead of sneaking around? I mean, I do think it was cool that we actually got to see the power source that creates the rings and all that, but this was just bad.
And at the end, we learned that sharing is caring. As they broke the power source in half, and Sonic gave that guy half of it. Which, you know, begged a couple of questions. One, it's like, is this like a radioactive isotope that they have? Shouldn't they be dying by holding this?
Pretty much, yeah.
And two, it's like, doesn't that half the power of it, or is this just something that you could just break indefinitely into like little pieces and pass it around?
Two of my other negatives, my big one, which I know I'm nitpicking here, but when Sonic first gets to the underground city, a pig serving chili dogs. Okay then, what? Hello?
You know, I started questioning, where are they getting these chili dogs? Where are they getting the hot dogs? I mean, hot dogs don't grow on trees. You don't like kill a hot dog. You have to actually manufacture one. Where are they making these? This is a world where Dr. Robot. I know I'm overanalyzing this stupid cartoon, but this is a world where Dr. Robotnik has taken over everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, who's making the hot dogs?
Yep. And who's making the chili? Because seriously, really, I mean, everything with that. It's like, what is?
Well, the chili is a little easier to explain. I mean, it's just, you know, beans and shit, but. Yeah, I don't.
So they went into the Forbidden Forest, got some beans, and added some meat, and yeah, I don't know. So we get SWAT bots, rat bots, and all this other stuff with the underground. But Robotnik or Snively or Sneedly or whatever his name is, neither one of them are in this episode at all. Like this episode has not. That's again, that's what I'm saying about earlier in the beginning of the podcast was. This show either wants to do one-off stories like this one, or they want to try to write a continuous arc with Robotnik and all that and everything else, and Sally's dad and Sonic's uncle, and they can't fucking pick what they want to do. Anything on Warp Sonic for you, good or bad?
Just that it was a filler episode that had a moral message, and therefore I hated it.
You know what would have been worse? If it had a single fucking tear, like every single episode of He-Man usually did.
Oh God, yeah, it did.
He-Man and She-Ra both had those. Alright, so next up we have Subsonic. I don't think I want to go to Subway for a Subsonic. Anyway. The Freedom Fighters' home, the Great Forest, is dying in search of magical water that causes plants to grow at an accelerated speed. The Freedom Fighters journey underground where they begin disappearing one by one. We just came out of an underground city. How come those characters are not back in this episode?
Because no one was talking to each other when they were writing these.
Apparently not.
Yeah, that does seem to beg another question. It's like, how does this affect that underground city?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like, thanks for saving us, Sonic. Oh God,
Yeah.
we're dying.
And of course, the whole time, because most of this episode is focused on pollution. All as I can think of is, loot and plunder and Captain Pollution and, by your powers combined, the power is yours and blah, blah, blah.
I was definitely getting some Captain Planet flashbacks in here.
Dodd and I tried we tried to launch a Captain Planet review show years and years and years ago. It was going to be called Planet Punks. It never got off the ground past one episode, but
I vaguely remember that.
That might come back in the next little bit. I don't know when, but that might resurface itself. Oh God, yeah. But the whole my only note for this episode was the pollution and thing. Anything for you on Subsonic? Anything that you liked or didn't like for this one?
I had a thought, but it kind of got lost. I guess it's the idea of like they found some magic water that cleaned up pollution and how kind of lame that was. I don't know. It's kind of an incomplete thought right now. I think everything around this episode, everything else I had to watch today is just making me very angry, and so this episode kind of got lost in the shuffle. I know there was like a giant underground creature that thought that Sonic's friends were in on it, but they made up toward the end and worked together. I don't know. Something happened, and like the walrus did something heroic, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
See, I kind of got confused at one point because while they're underground, they encountered man-eating plants, and I thought that's what the weird water was doing. So I'm like, oh no! Like especially later when like you see like the trees above ground kind of absorb some of the magic water, and they start to grow even bigger than before. And I'm like, oh, their forest is going to turn into a bunch of evil trees, but that didn't happen. That was kind of a non sequitur that completely confused me.
Yeah. And all I can think of is Audrey had babies.
Oh no.
Feed me, Seymour, feed me. Okay.
Suddenly Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah. God, now all I can think of is that song, Suddenly Last Summer, for some odd reason. Anyway, Sonic Past Cool is our final episode for today. Robotnik has set his greedy eyes on the last living herd of dinosaur-like species. The Freedom Fighters help the creatures navigate through the great jungle while fighting off the advances of Robotnik's machines. Now, this episode is strange because... first of all, it's a Tails-centric story. Second of all, it's essentially Tails is Jerry and the little dinosaur dude is Jumbo.
Oh, jeez. See, I looked away for a moment, and I turned back, and I thought I had accidentally turned on the Land Before Time.
Why would-
or even worse, one of the Land Before Time sequels.
Yeah, they're all pretty bad. First movie was all right for its time. It's not the
Yeah.
best movie, but the rest of them, oh my god. There are like what, 10 of those, 9 of those, 8 of I don't even know.
They keep making them.
Yeah.
And they have bad songs in them, just like Donkey Kong Country.
I don't know, dude. I don't think there's any kind of singing in any cartoon at this point that could outdo the horribleness of the singing in Donkey Kong Country. I mean, William Hung can sing better than the people that sung in Donkey Kong Country.
I don't know. I would challenge you to try to sit through one of the songs from the Land Before Time sequels.
Maybe one of these days. The only thing I wrote down for Sonic Past Cool, oh hell no, the annoying kid character feels left out. Cliche, anybody? And really, honestly, what does Tails even add to the... Okay, Sonic is the super speedster who's got the attitude, and I know, we here at Pixels the Animation don't really like the fact that he has attitude in this cartoon, but, that's what it is. And, he does all this stuff, and he doesn't really come up with the plans. He just enacts the plans. Sally is the planner and the plotter. Rotor is the tinker mechanic, essentially. He's the, oh god, what's Baloo's buddy's name in Tailspin? Not Kit.
Oh, I don't know.
God. Wildcat. Wily Cat, or whatever. No, well, Wily Cat's from Thundercats, but you know who I'm talking about. The mechanic from Tailspin.
So. Yes,
so that's the Rotor character. Bunny Rabbit is, a character amongst herself, But Tails, he's just kind of there. And he's just kind of there in the video, like... Sonic 2 is the only video game that I've played that has Tails. Really, I have not played anything else past that. So in that game, Tails is just kind of there. You can use him as a separate character, like in the bonus rounds and things like that. But he doesn't really, as an assistant to Sonic in that second game, he really doesn't assist him at all.
Well, if you have someone else playing as Tails, he's basically immortal, so
yeah.
So Sonic can just sit off at the side of the screen, and Tails can attack the bosses.
There you go. That's true. Oh boy. Any thoughts from you on Sonic Past Cool?
It was trying to be sappy, and it totally failed. I mean, there's one scene in there where the little, I forget the name of the character, but the little dinosaur cub goes back with its herd, and Sonic says something about he misses his mother, and like Tail goes, I miss my mother too, single tear. I'm like, oh come on, barf.
There was a single tear. Oh my god. Yeah, I got the vibe of Land Before Time. I got the vibe of, like I said, Jerry and Jumbo, the old Tom and Jerry cartoon. And now as you're talking about it as the cub going back with the mother, I'm like, if the mother was, a father and, really stuck up and tight, it would essentially be Colonel Hottie and his son from Jungle Book.
Yeah.
God. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, come back with final ratings and all that good stuff, and close the show out after this.
It's action. It's drama. It's comedy. It's Decian, the superhero webcomic. Decian's got superhero antics and sexy girls. Read it now at Decian.com. DASIEN.com.
All right, folks, we are back here on Pixels in the Animation, episode 74. To rate these episodes, Warp Sonic, I'm going to give it a 2. There was no warp zone. There was no nothing there at all. What about you?
I'll give it a 1. I just didn't like it.
The
only reason why it doesn't get a 0 is because I'm sure I've given zeros to worse.
Yeah. Every episode of Darkstalkers.
Pretty much.
Yeah. What about Subsonic for you?
I gotta give it a 1. Just didn't like it.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5. It was okay. Sonic Pass Cool, I will give a 3. It's a generous 3, really, because I saw so much in the episode from other things. Like, I almost went and watched the Tom and Jerry and Jumbo episode. I really almost watched that cartoon right after I watched Sonic Past Cool. So, what about you for Sonic Past Cool?
See, to me, that's a negative. If a cartoon inspires you to watch a much better cartoon, that means that cartoon is awful. So I got to give it a 1. All of these are filler episodes. They were goddamn awful.
Mm-hmm. Trying to catch that 90s kids market.
Ugh.
All right, folks. Coming up next is episode 75. That means there's only 25 podcasts left in Pixels in the animation, unless we decide to go 101 and start talking about Pokemon, which I highly doubt will happen.
No.
Where can the people find your web comics, sir?
Decian.com, and on that website you'll also see the link to my Twitter account as Parker Lynn Bailey, so I don't even need to give you the URL for that. It's already there, built into the site.
That's funny. I am, of course, at TFU and Mike on Twitter. You can follow at Geekcast Radio, and also This Week in Geek, as I'm publishing the Sonic stuff both on GCRN and Twig as well. Go to geekcastradio.com, thisweekingeek.net, all that other good stuff. And join us next time and help us find the pixels in the animation.
Ooh, I like to hang, but I got a juice.